Good afternoon. Thank you very much for your interest in the webinar. And as the title of the webinar says, what we have tried to do is we have done extensive research on how globally successful printers have generated growth for themselves. And I'm very sure that you'll have a lot of informative interaction. The reason because we have collected a lot of interesting information and analytics, which before also we shared with a lot of printers, and they have found it very useful. So I'm very confident that you'll also have a lot of interesting information, and it would help you to define your next strategy for growth. So I suppose I am clearly is my sound good enough now? Can you hear me? Yeah. So basically, let's start. And what we have done is the purpose behind having this session. One of the main reason that we realized that while working with a lot of Indian printers, there was a set of a lot of common challenges that they were going through, and our objective was to help printers to understand and how to deal with those challenges, and that is where we took this initiative as a part of our contribution to help printers grow. And that and the second very important aspect that we realized, that in spite of having some fantastic printing capabilities in India, we still are not globally present, like a lot of those global brands that we see. So one of the major objective that we also have in today's session, and the purpose is that how we can create and help Indian printers to become global brands. And that is where we started this journey of building up this knowledge sharing webinar. So first of the common question that we keep coming again and again and again with a lot of printers across India is client retention and how to increase repeat sales. And one major common response that I get is why we don't have salesmen, because every time we have a salesman and he goes, the customer also goes with him, because most of the day-to-day operations are managed by the sales guy, and the printers are at the back end. So the customers become so much comfortable with the sales guy that for them printers are not the key people, and the salesmen become the key people. So this is one of the major challenges that a lot of printers, what we need to, all the challenges might not be applicable to you. So what we have done is we have just collected the major challenges. So maybe the second major problem that we kept interacting with a lot of print shops and printers as well, large printers, when we talk to them about their databases, how do they keep in touch with their customers, we have been hearing that only 30%, like a lot of those large print shops, like one of our customers has 7 stores in Bangalore. And when we were trying to understand his buyers buying patterns, and they're trying to analyze their data, we realized that they do not have more than 30% of the data that is there for with them to really analyze. And today, as you know, data is becoming very critical in terms of growth, to understand the customers buying patterns and their changing needs. Second very critical aspect that come when we deal with printers is that their challenge is managing those small orders. A lot of time they have a lot of large corporates with whom they are dealing with, and those large corporates also push in a lot of those small orders in their system, and then that becomes a pain for them. So how to manage their small orders, and a lot of innovative printing, in terms of when we say innovative today, a lot of promotional printing, a lot of personalized gifts printing, a lot of new personalized marketing is becoming part of the requirement for small to large corporates, and this is becoming critical for the printers to manage and compete with the uh, second, fourth important part. And I have customers who have been talking about in sense how do we increase or expand, because every time one of the cases that I would love to share is one of my clients. He was already dealing with commercial printing, and then he started his book publishing. And the interesting part that started happening was when he started focusing on the book publishing, his commercial printing started going down. So ultimately, he started his business to grow and expand. Still, over a period of 2 years, he was still, the turnover remained same, because the new business where he focused started growing, and the old business, and there were major challenges in terms of managing the existing customers and repeat businesses because of the errors and dependency on the manpower. And people would always want to talk to the owner, and the minute the owner was busy with something else, it became a challenge to manage that existing business. Sixth, the errors, long delivery time, status updates, because we keep interacting with some very very interesting printers who have fantastic business model, but then they do not come out of their day-to-day operations. Because even while we were having a meeting, I still remember he had 17 missed calls, and 17 missed calls, and he had a big smile on his face saying that every customer or his team is calling him up, because nothing will move in till I am part of the operation. And so there's a high dependency on the owners or the key members of the printing companies, and which does not allow them to really work on the business, and they most of the time they're working in the business. So that's a major challenge that printers are again facing, which can help them. Only they can expand or grow if they start working on the business, and a lot of their day-to-day operations can be taken care by the second line or by the technology. So that is the another challenge. Customers changing preferences. A lot of our print clients, like one of my clients is based in Udaipur, and he caters to a lot of the small villages around Udaipur. And now the challenge, earlier he used to receive the print files as CDs through bus or through couriers. Now even in such small villages, people have started demanding for an automated system. Second, lot of customers are moving on to online buying, and they are looking for more of an automate. So there's another challenge that printers are facing is how to manage the changing preferences of the customers. So these are a few of the challenges that we have tried to and which has motivated us to move on with this webinar. So I'll just quickly go through the key session objectives. One of the key focus areas and the objective is to understand what are the key goals and focus areas of the successful companies. What is driving success for them? What are the fundamentals which is driving success for the large printers globally? Second, how the leading companies are increasing their sales or repeat sales and reducing their cost, how they are utilizing and leveraging technology in this process. Third objective that we keep, because this is another question that we keep coming through, and we feel the challenge for the printers, because for printers it is much easy to measure the ROI of a machine that they buy, but it is becoming very critical and challenging how to calculate ROI for the technology. And finally, we want to also discuss how the print service providers have become global brands. So these are the major session objectives that we intend to cover through this knowledge sharing session. So let us start with some very interesting numbers and information. One, the if you are aware, today the print industry globally is a $600 billion dollars, where the overall revenue globally generated by print industry, and it's one of the oldest print industry. And the interesting aspect it is globally 90% of the printers are small scale industry. They are widespread across. Even in US, 90% of the printers are either 15 people or less than 15 people company. Similarly, the other aspect is worldwide today, including China, the print industry is on decline. Print companies are decreasing by 6%. That includes that a lot of companies are either closing down, and a lot of M&As, mergers and acquisitions are also taking place because of the changing, fast changing print industry because of the internet and the digital printing, which is really shifting and pushing the entire industry to rethink the approach. So this is where but the interesting part today is that in spite globally the print industry is going down, India is growing by 5.2% because we are a growing economy, and a lot of industrial and e-commerce growth is driving printing industry to the next level. We have 2.5 lakh printers in India, big, small, and medium. 2015 Indian revenue of print industry was $11 billion, and it is expected to grow to 21 billion in 2020. And we are growing annually, by 12% in terms where major growth is in digital printing and packaging printing, whereas even commercial printing is growing 10 to 12%. So today, and why this is happening basically, today you'll be surprised to know that India is the second largest internet users in the world. And out of every 4 users those are surfing on internet, one of them is buying at a given point of time. The other very interesting aspect that we need to understand about India today is that India is the one of the youngest countries in the world, and with 101.2 billion people today, our average age is 35 years, and by 2020 our average age will be less than 30 years. And another interesting aspect I would love to share out here, that Ernst & Young did a research comparing to the American online buyer and an Indian online buyer. And the very interesting aspect that both the buyers have the same approach. In fact, there was no difference between the online American youth and the online Indian youth. Their preferences, their approach, their needs are absolutely same. So this is a very another interesting aspect that has come out. Second, the we are soon going to become the number 1 mobile users in the world. 2013, 46% research was done. Like what it means is that every time somebody buys, or plans to buy something, 46% of people went on their mobile to search about that product. Similarly, 2015, that has grown to by 78%, that every buying, before every buying, a user uses his mobile to surf and find out more about that product or that company or about that service. And today we are at number 2 in terms, we are just behind China in terms of the smartphone users. Another aspect, the growth in the rise in the e-commerce. If you look at 2009, we were just 3.8 billion, and within 7 years we have reached 10 times growth, 38 billion dollars, and which is increasing again and by 2018 will almost be 55 billion. So there's a huge growth, and it's growing exponential. If you look only between 2015 and 2016, we have grown by 67%. So these numbers are mind blowing, and the way the Indian buyers are moving on online, the reason is again the youth. Today we are the youngest country in the globe, and which is driving this sales. Now what we have done is, again, as we mentioned earlier, the next slides where we have tried to cover up some very interesting information which the globally successful companies are focusing on, and it will give you an understanding of what are the key areas that they are proactively aware of, and what has driven them ahead of their competitors. So this is somewhere which this next slides will give you an understanding of what they have been constantly focusing on, and what is on their key what are their key focus areas. So, so they have been constantly doing market research, to proactively identify changing trends. This is one of the biggest trends that the successful companies have. They are on search. They are trying to understand the new trends, the new upcoming technologies, the changing markets, and they are trying to study their competitors, their other technologies, other industries, how things are shifting, and how it will impact printing industry as well. And so one of the very very interesting aspects that the successful companies know and they are focusing is on retaining their existing clients, because they understand that every new client costs them 7 times more than retaining their existing customers. So like for example, if you spend 100 rupees behind your existing client, you have to spend 700 rupees to get a new customer. So one of the very fundamental difference, or the focus area of successful companies, how do they keep retaining their existing clients. And if you have gone to the new upcoming global brands even in India, like I went to one of this coffee chains, and they used my mobile number, to generate the bill. And the purpose was to collect my information. Was since then every week they're trying to keep a track of my if I am visiting them or I'm not there, and they are trying to push new offers and new products that they are introducing. So which keeps me in touch, constantly in touch with them, and connected to them, and making me feel special. Even I got an SMS saying, that you haven't visited us since 2 months, and we want to give you some special offer for you and your partner. So it was very interesting how these guys keep track of your existing client. So this is where they're constantly trying to build their client retention. Second very important aspect that they are aware is that 5% increase in customer retention can lead to 25% to 100% profit. The reason, because every time you go out to take a new client, you spend a lot of energy, time, money, to get them on the board. Like typically, if you look at the exhibitions that you spend money on, or if you look at the campaigns that you do to get new customers, you know what is the cost. In fact, the new customer might not even break even if he does not generate repeat sales. We spend hundreds and thousands of dollars traveling across the globe just to exhibit ourselves. So getting an individual in a client is probably might not be even profitable, but 5% increase in customer retention can increase 25% to 100% profitability. So this is something that successful companies really understand, and constantly trying to improve their client retention and repeat orders. Another very interesting aspect, a research was done in terms where today in traditional system, when a customer calls you on your phone to ask for a quote, we normally take 30 to minutes to an hour, or maybe even more, to get back to the client with the quote. Whereas if we are able to generate that quote in 5 minutes, there are 21% more chances that you can win that job today. And that's something which has forced them to automate their quoting systems, where how fast they can quote back to the customer. And second, because when a phone call comes in, the client calls another 10 vendors, and the fastest who quotes him has the maximum chances of winning that order. Then there was a research done by Alibaba, where they came up that in the traditional system, it takes around $33 while you use telephone to get a new order, because there are multiple calls that are happening. There are repeated time that you invest into understanding what the customer wants, and you get back to the customer with the cost. Then he comes up with an alternative that, no, how about if I change my requirement? So you again go with the costing back to him. There are approximately 12 to 15 calls that take place before one call order gets confirmed, and there are multiple people involved in terms of getting that quote confirmed. So that is the cost that they've calculated. Typically this could be more not directly comparable in the Indian environment. It could be more or less, but this is the kind of cost and time that goes typically when you are taking new orders through phone. And the worst scenario is there's no commitment, because the customer can easily call up anybody and at any point of time change the printer depending on the cost that he gets. Second, then they did a research that even if you use email, what is the cost of processing an order? Because email for surely reduces some level of communication to and fro, but still it dramatically gets your cost down to $10. And when they did this analysis with the online business, when the customer uses an online ordering portal where client can check the pricing on his own, use various dynamic variables in terms of, and can have an instant quote on the product that he wants to order, can upload his files and order any point of time. And because all the process, the front end ordering process is now done by the customer. It is like the ATM today. Like when you look at the ATMs across, what they have done is they have created a self-ordering portal, so you don't need to wait or move down to the bank. Before, if you remember, we had to take those tokens and wait in the line, and if you're late, maybe after 1 o'clock in the earlier days, it was difficult to even get cash. And during certain days of the month or the festive seasons, there was a crazy lines and time that we need to invest, and bank had to get more people to actually manage that crowd. Today, just as ATM has reduced a lot of routine pressure on the bank, and they are focusing on other aspects of growth. Similarly, the online trend or the online business portal has helped printers to reduce their order processing cost almost to nil. If you really compared from $33 to $1, it has almost gone. The cost has gone dramatically down. Then the research shows that in US print market today, the interesting part is more than 65% of printers are already offering online ordering in US, because the research indicates that 50% of the buyers out there, or the marketing companies, only prefer printers who have an online portal. So out of every two buyers who are buying, 50% of buyers only prefer printers who have an online process. And some interesting aspects that have come up, that because of the online ordering processes or online print ordering, corporates budgets have gone up. There's been 44% increase in the print orders that are being generated for the printers. So this is the trends that are taking place. And because of this, today 2013, 30% of the print orders were through the online portal, and it is anticipated to reach 50% by next year. So this is the trends that already successful companies are aware of, and that is where they are moving ahead. Even if you look at the upcoming Drupa global, the Drupa 2016, they did a research. Drupa have invested extensively in creating research to identify the major trends, and one of the major out of the top three trends that they have come up, one is the print technology, where people are looking at the digital and the new technology, print technology, which can help them maximize their productivity, reduce their cost, and also give great results to the end customer. Second part is the finishing technology, where this time Drupa is going to the customers, I mean the people visiting Drupa have their major focus on. And third, very important again, is the pre-press workflow or the automation of the printing processes. So these are the top 3 investment priorities of printers during Drupa 2016. As you would be aware, Drupa almost attracts more than 4 lakh printers across the globe. And the interesting aspect, last year Indians were the largest visitors, post after Germans. We were the 8% visitors, and Indians were the highest even investors in the new technology. So this is again, this is some interesting aspect where the marketing cost where you use traditional mediums is very high compared to the digital mediums, like when you use social networking and SEOs and Google, where your cost goes down almost to one half, or even less than 1/10 of the cost of what you spend in the traditional medium. Now, the next slides that are coming up is where we have done more further analysis. So the earlier slides where we shared was more of how the successful companies are doing research and what information they have and they are utilizing in building up their next strategies, and which is keeping them ahead of their competitors. So we have gone in terms of doing analysis of some of the successful companies and how they have earned success, what were their focus areas, what they did, and how they have been replicating their successes and have become global brands today. And as we know, one of the common names that we all know and we all keep talking again and again and again is Vistaprint. It has become like Tendulkar of online printing. Every printer who comes in wants to become the next Vista. So here, what was the major target audience or the challenge that the Vistaprint wanted to address to was retail customers and 1 to 10 people company. That is where they started in 1995, and it was started by a college pass out who didn't have any print background, but then he realized a major pain area in terms of that small guys like him, when they went for printing, the large printers were not ready to really help them out, or were not interested to really deal with him. And that is where he could understand pain of a lot of other people who would be in the same boat like him and was struggling to get quality printing or quality or service that they were looking for. So what their business model was, again, only online selling. That is where they started with. And what is the interesting number that they said, 20 years journey. Today they are in 130 countries already. They have reached to 130 countries, and today their sales revenue is $1.5 billion USD, and this is growing. With 9 million customers globally, 67% repeat sales. And this is what most of the time when I look at these numbers, and when I talk to a lot of large printers in India, and when they say with a lot of proud, we have been there for 100 years, we have been there for 60 years, and the interesting part is we are still, when I understand the business, they are still there in their own comfort zone or the comfort markets, which they have not been able to grow or become nationwide brand or global brand. And this is where, when I look at Vista, it really makes me feel very small in terms of within 20 years what they have done is a miracle. And again, if you look at their repeat sales, like 67% is their repeat sales. So if you look at 9 million customers and $5 billion turnover, 67% of the turnover is coming from repeat sales from the existing customers. How they achieved, again, as I mentioned, the first thing that what Vista was, they started with a challenge in the market. He could understand the pain of the micro business, 1 to 10 people companies and the retail customers, and he wanted to look for a solution for them. And that is where he started. So all the large companies, when you look at them, they did start for a commercial purpose, but they basically initially started to solve a problem in the market, and soon that those solutions become a global success, because that was a common pain area across the market. And so when they started, Vistaprint only started with business cards, and they tried to use technology and automation to make small orders profitable, because that was the only way where they could convert, gather multiple small orders together and then process them together, which could make those small orders process faster and profitable. And the third part they really focused again was how the small buyers can easily order and keep reordering through their system. And when they established this and achieved a success, they realized that this is a pain area which is not only limited to their particular market, but this is a challenge which the entire globe is facing. And that is where they started expanding and replicating their business model using the technology, because they built their business on technology. It was much easy for them to replicate the structure. For sure, technology is one part of the business, but because of the technology, the replication was much easier for compared to the traditional businesses. Today, when we look at traditional businesses, even opening a new store, sitting in Mumbai and opening a new store in Pune is very painful, because the major challenge is how will you control your business, or how will you keep a track of what's happening out there. And this is where Vistaprint has come up very strong, because they have a very strong technology where they manage their data and information, and sitting anywhere in the world they can keep a track of their operations across the globe. And they've been growing and very fast. Other thing that they did and they've been doing then is adding new products and new services, because as they go down to every market and every new target audience, because of they have understood that there are pain areas and there are needs that the customers are facing. So they keep in touch with their customers, they're listening to them, they're trying to identify their next needs, and they have been adding new products. So when you look at that SME or the small buyers, they have even introduced, setting up websites for them. So they have not limited themselves to just printers, but they have become as, complete solution providers for their target audience. And this is the major shift happening globally. Even large corporates and companies are looking for not printers, but people who can take care of their complete needs, and they work as their solution providers. So this is where they have been then adding lot of value, and this is where their repeat business is increasing, and that is where they've been able to retain, because every time a customer comes back, there's a new need that they've identified and they've added it. Like they started with business cards. Today, even in India, they did the same thing. Now they've added T-shirts and they've added mugs and they've added calendars, and so every now and then the same customer has different needs, and he knows that Vistaprint already offers a lot of this what he's looking forward, and whatever he has created his account has already a lot of his data. So it is very easy for him to order any new product from Vistaprint, and that is where they are increasing their repeat business and their growth cycles. Second, they have realized that technology has been the core, the backbone of their business, and that is what is helping them to strengthen their relationship with their customers, which is strengthening them to reach out to new markets, which is strengthening them into tying up with new partners, which is strengthening them into integrating and managing their businesses. And that is where they've been constantly investing in upgrading their technology, whether it could be the online store, whether it could be the mobile technologies, whether it is the backbone, whether it is the print machines. So they have been investing non-stop constantly to keep their technology upgraded to match the needs of the new buyers, the new buyers comfortability. So that is where Vistaprint has been growing. Again, the now what happens when we look at Vistaprint, normally we have a question that now Vistaprint is beyond our imagination, already. And having players like Vistaprint, do we have a say in the market? But the market is huge, it is highly fragmented, and there's a huge need for personalized services. So there, what we did, we even picked up an Indian success story. You would be aware of PrintLand. again, their target was small business and retail users. It was started by 21-year-old Udit Bansal, who after doing his management degree did not want to join his father's print business because he felt that that traditional approach is not going to work for long, and he started in 2011. Again, he also focused on the only online selling, and you will be surprised to see the numbers that within 8 months of startup, he had a break even of whatever he had invested in terms, and within 3 months he had done a sales of 34 lakhs. Again, the same focus. uh, Within a year he had 15,000 customers and 90% online in terms, and these were all small companies and individual users with an average. They had done a that average a small business was doing around 50,000 to 1 lakh rupees turnover with them. So number of orders per month, 1,000 orders per month with an average order value of 5,000 rupees was that they started in the initial phase. These are old numbers. Obviously now this numbers would have changed quite a lot. So this is where we just, but how did they again, we try to do analysis with them. Again, they too identified the challenge, the pain of the market, and then they focused on the small to medium companies and providing quality print and service to SMEs in smaller towns and cities in India, because they realized that a lot of small B towns in India who do not have access to the high-end technology, and not they get that services. So they started focusing on those small town customers, and where they also need a lot of printing, but then they don't get access to the technology. So again, initial strategy was how to build an online ordering portal where customers can come themselves, order and design 24 into 7. Again, their focus also has been easy ordering and repeat business. And they started by building their own technology. They have created their own in-house technology team, which is building up their backend in terms of the entire online ordering platform. The second aspect that they focused, and if you read their reports, is they started hiring some of the best brains in the industry in terms of who understood the online market, who understood the customers changing needs, who understood the print industry. And then they have been investing a lot in people who can drive their organization to the next level, and have been leveraging technology. Now they have been in again, just as Vistaprint, they have been also investing very heavily in technology in terms of automating their processes. Now, this is one of the, these are two large players. We might think this is one of the local print companies based in Ahmedabad. They've been into print industry and majorly focusing on metal labels and stickers for 46 years. Their need was how to expand to new markets, because they have a very strong hold in Ahmedabad market, and the customers around small towns in Ahmedabad, but then they had become limited to those markets, and they were really struggling in terms of moving to the next level. Whatever they did, ultimately that database was limited to the local buyers. So that is where Bakul Bhai thought of launching a e-commerce platform. So 6 years back, he started with a generic e-commerce. So couple of years he invested in the generic e-commerce platform and got initial success, where he started getting orders apart, from Ahmedabad, from other states and cities. In fact, some of the orders he started getting even from the small towns in South India, and which is very interesting aspect that he shared, that he had never even dreamed or heard of that village name, and even the local, the standard couriers were not even delivering material, so he had to use the local Angadia service to send the parcel. But it really gave him a vision and excitement that means there are a lot of such customers, and who are looking for similar services and print products. Then the second challenge that started, that how does he now simplify the ordering system. So that because of the changing online market, as you saw in the earlier slide, the increase in e-commerce and the internet users, and that the internet users in India and the US, the needs are same. He realized that he needs a more sophisticated platform or more sophisticated system where customers can easily personalize their labels, can upload their own designs, proof and order online. So a lot of that automation starts happening place. So that is where they went ahead with our solution. And then his next need to expand was he did not limit himself only to Indian markets. Now he has opened a online web store even in US, where he's now catering to US market, which is still he is investing a lot of strategy in terms of how to get more clients from US. He has got initial success, but still a long way to go to expand in the US market. So this is where his need for expansion and what they achieved by going online and having an online automated processing, because now what happened, the end user while uploading or designing his labels online was also proofing it and submitting the final file for the printing, so which really reduced the print job processing, where earlier everything was manual, multiple calls had to be done, files had to be checked, and instead of the buyer, all the responsibility was of the printer to make sure that the files are correct. And in case if anything goes wrong, the buyer would, the printer had to bear all the cost and the negativity from the customer. So this is where 200% faster increase in the online print job processing. 90% order turnaround efficiency improved, because of everything was automated. As from the order, the customer pushes it online to the back end, the job ticket, the print ready files, automated emails are being sent to the buyers, automate updates are being sent as the your status changes. So lot of that calls that he used to answer earlier, to the customer in saying now the job is in printing, or it is some files are missing, or we have shipped it. Now everything has become automated, so everything from the back end, once the order is being received, the customer keeps getting automatic update, just as when you buy online, the online e-commerce shopping portals keep giving you those inputs. Even the invoice is being generated automatically, job tickets, emails are being sent on their own. Even the email to the production department, every time a new order comes, automatically the emails is sent to the production and the graphic team in terms that the new order arrived. So 1,000% increase in online traffic after going online within a month's time. They increased 1,000 because everything is now, they have a high-end online marketing tools integrated, which generates today. If you search even in Google, you will find them on the top three list when you say label printing. And the biggest benefit that they really saw in terms of the money or the ROI, that the staff required to process order earlier where they needed 3 people, today that has gone down dramatically to one person. So even if we consider an average salary of 15,000 to 20,000 in Indian market at the back end, the company is already saving 45 to 60,000 rupees a month. And this is just, we are talking about one team. When you have large orders coming in, you have multiple teams. So if you look at now, that same 3 people team can handle 3 times more orders compared to what you are managing currently. And these are some of the interesting coverage that Print Week has been giving them because of the success. Today, because of this, they have an 85% increase in the repeat business. These are some interesting numbers that you can always search online as well. These articles are available, or you can request us, we can send it to you. Now, this is another story of an Australian success story of an Australian printer. Basically, his focus, he realized the need that there are large corporates with multi offices across Australia, and there are large franchises. Now there's a challenge, the need, or these franchises are really struggling, or these large corporates dealing with multiple printers, and their major challenge was managing their brand. Because if you look at a franchisee like Pizza Hut, or you look at any large franchisee today, their major challenge or need is that their branding remains intact, and it's not being misused, or there's any dilution in the brand. If you look at Coke, you'll find the same rate across anywhere you go in the world, and this is the biggest challenge that he realized that a lot of large corporates were spending a lot of time, money, energy in terms of managing digital assets, as well as they had to manage multiple printers across the country. And while even launching new franchises, there was a lot of lead time because of the printing or the setting up the franchisee. So this is where his major challenge was. So initially he started using technology where he used multiple softwares to manage one of his franchisee with who had one of his customers who had 270 franchises across Australia. But then that started becoming very complex because of multiple solutions, and there came in the limitation in terms of how to grow. So their strategy came in that how they can consolidate on one portal, so that the multiple franchises can be managed and the digital assets can be managed centrally. Because current in his earlier system, he was using a separate online ordering system, a separate reporting system, separate accounting system, separate order processing system. So he needed almost 20 people at the back end to manage the franchisee orders, and it was becoming very critical for him to synergize all the software as well as the customers need. And because of that, for years he could not add new clients, large franchises on his uh, backbone. And that is where then we created a solution for him in terms where we consolidated all his softwares on one backbone. And today, because of that, uh, the franchisee that they were managing, everything the customer has, they don't need to have multiple people at the back end. Everything has become automated. The franchisee can generate their own reports on their own. Earlier, that same report used to take almost a month's time once the customer asked for it. Now they have instant report. Every day whenever the orders are being taken place, or are being processed, the customer has actual data in front of him, and they don't need to actually come down to the printer, or it is no more printers headache to generate those reports. And so because of that shift today, the customer, they've been able to add 4 new franchisee client within uh, uh, 1 year. And with the same, and the best part, where again the ROI is coming in, that he has not needed to add new people. The same team is managing the 4 new clients. So that is where the growth in terms of customers, the top line, and the growth in terms of the bottom line is taking place. Because every time you add a new customer, and if you have to add new people, means your profitability is still the same, and managing more people means more headache. So that is where the printer and the end customer is very happy with us right now. uh, in fact, the 275 franchisee has proposed, the printer had called us saying that they have proposed this system for their global management. It's just like they, because this franchisee has their network across the globe, and they want to propose our system to their printers who are processing their orders in other countries, So this is the major success that we go, and if you look at again, understand what has been really working for this customer. One, identifying the challenge in the market. He exactly knew that there's a big problem for the large corporates as well, just as the small customers where Vistaprint looked for the problem area for the small customers or individuals. This printer focus on the large corporates who are also struggling, and their struggle is if somebody can manage their entire print from a centrally managed location, so they don't need to go down to multiple printers and multiple, and this help both the printer and the corporate even in terms of negotiation, because now there's a long term contract. The order size has increased, so even the printer can pass on better pricing, and even the B2B or the corporate has multiple benefits. One, in terms of the costing, and second, now they have a central print MIS kind of a system available to them. So all their approval systems, approval management, their reporting, their budgeting, depending on the franchisee, they have salesmen and their sales managers managing multiple franchises. Everything is managed through that portal. So now the printer is not only giving them a print solution, but also offering an extensive print management, and which has also helped the corporate to grow much faster, because now when they add a new franchisee, everything is automated. They just create one more franchise in the system, and they know what has to be delivered in terms of setting up that franchisee. So even the printer is prepared for it, and even the corporate knows that the franchisee will be up and running in a stipulated time, because everything is synchronized and automated in the process. So now for the large corporates, they are all looking at an online ordering process, not only for managing print, but even optimizing their growth plans. Even in US, if you look at the large corporates, in fact, they are looking for printers who can really optimize their entire print management and optimize their and become a part of their business goals. We just recently had a customer from US who is one of the largest printers out there. He lost a multi-million dollar customer who was already a customer, but they went with a printer who is offering them a complete online portal, and that is where now we are working in setting up their automated portal system, because they realize that now the large corporates are also looking for an online order processing systems which can help them grow. So that is where we are building up a solution for them as well. So what we have tried to do out here is, again, we have tried to synchronize what are the success, what are the common characteristics. So one major point that has come up in all the success story, that they never started for the only the commercial purpose. They had a clarity on the problem that they are intending to solve in the market. So their actual focus was how could they make their clients' life easy, and that is where they started working, and that is where they started becoming a success story, because all those customers who had similar problems started getting connected to them, because the printer was not just trying to sell print, but was actually trying to solve their problem. Second, one common thing again in all of them was they started small. They started with one service, one problem. Like if you look at Vistaprint, or they started only with business card, and in their market they tried to establish and understand the entire life cycle, and once they had mastered that, then only they started adding new services. Similarly, if you look at all the other success stories as well, they started with one specific market or one specific product or one specific target audience, and once they completed that life cycle, because they had a clarity of what problem they are trying to solve, and once they solved that problem, then they added and went on to the adding new services or products. Third, very important part, which we don't when we look at all the success stories, we sometimes believe that these guys are big and they could do it, but that's not the truth. It is the people inside the organization which have made the major difference. And what these guys have realized, successful people, that it is very, very important that they invest in the right people who can adapt change, who can drive growth, who can understand their clients' needs, and who can work as a team. Who can synergize, who can maximize the productivity by working as a team. Because today, even if you look at the small organization, the biggest challenge that they are facing is people. Because when you don't have the right team, majority of the time you are spending in managing your existing operations or existing challenges rather than growth. But having the right people in place, what happens, you define the right processes and the right structures and the right mindset. Because I've been talking, I was talking to one of the largest printers even in India, and he said, we have invested on all the technologies that you are naming today, but still we could not drive success. And that is where one insight that I shared with him, that even if you look at the earlier, even when the ERPs had started implementing, 92% of ERPs failed. And the major reason that they had come up was that the change management, that the organizations were not ready to adapt. First, they were not ready to accept that things are changing. We become so much in a comfort zone that we always keep looking at and we have, we justify that there's still a lot of time. Like for example, 4 years back, 3 years back, when I used to talk to printers, India is still too early for e-commerce, and it is too early for technology. India will take a lot of time. And when you look at the numbers in 7 years, from $3.8 billion of e-commerce to 37 billion, 10 times growth, we have just taken 10 years. So that is where we keep avoiding change. And that is where the successful companies are investing, how they can help their people to adapt to change. And for that, they are trying to select the right people who can prepare their existing team emotionally and skill wise to take up new challenges. Fourth point, as I again said, all the major successful companies, if you look at them, they're growing because they're trying to retain their existing customers and increase repeat business. Everything is revolving around them, how to simplify ordering and reordering for their customers, how they can remain in touch with their customers, how they can introduce new services to the same customers, how they can find out the next challenges and needs of their customers, so they can keep adding those services, so that the same customer keeps coming back to them. Fifth point that is common, that they've been constantly investing in market research to keep themselves ahead of to predict the next trends, the next needs, where they are interacting with their customers. They're open to understanding what their competitors are doing. They're trying to understand not only what is happening in the print industry, but also trying to understand what other industries and how they are changing, because everything is correlated and connected. Whatever is changing in the other market is very fast affecting the print industry as well. Like when you look at the e-commerce or the online retail ordering that is happening, or in the banking, the automation is taking place. Today, the same needs are being arising even in the print, because the buyer are the same. They are looking for the same experience and services everywhere that they deal with. Another thing, they are constantly analyzing that customer data, because they collect a lot of customer data. They're trying to pattern and see what is changing, why the customers are coming back, or why customers are not coming back, what they are liking, or what are the challenges. They have a very strong analytical backbone, where they are continuously trying to understand and predict the next cycles. Like I keep sharing this example. I've been dealing with one of the local digital print shops almost since couple of years. But suddenly, when I stopped using their services last 3 years, I haven't heard from them ever in terms to understand why I stopped using their service. And this is a major challenge in the local market, and this is what the successful companies are constantly investing in. Sixth point, understanding all the first 5 points, what they have done is they have been investing heavily in terms of the technology, using technology as a backbone, where they're investing in web to print, MIS systems, CRMs. They're trying to integrate everything, so that the more the data, the faster the data, and the information that they get, the faster the order processing is taking place, the faster the predicting the next, and most important, all besides everything else at the back end, is how they can make their customers' life easy, how they can really help their customers enjoy working with them. And that is where they're trying to invest in technology. The first goal is to make their customers' life easy, and then the second part is where they're investing in even optimizing their backbone. So as a printer, most of the time what we have seen, that the difference between the successful printers and the mediocre printers, successful printers are focusing on their customers' needs, whereas the mediocre printers are focusing on how they can, their first focus is how they can reduce their cost or their operations, and that is where, because if only the the top line grows or the sales grows automatically, then you can invest in managing your back end much stronger. So these are the six characteristics which we have tried to identify and understand working. And we have been working with a lot of small to large printers, and out of them we have been constantly collecting information, interacting with successful printers, and trying to understand what is driving success for them. So there are a lot of other aspects also, but we have tried to currently restrict ourselves or identify those six. We can always discuss a lot of other aspects, maybe into one-to-one session, depending on your business model and strategies. So this is where. So the next step in this webinar, I'll take your permission and just trying to make an awareness whether your company is prepared, and you are the right judge to answer that question. So we have just put it as a question, that are you prepared for the 21st century print buyers in India? Because the next generation is coming up, being the youngest nation in the world, with an average age soon becoming 29 and below. The young buyers are the dynamic buyers, and they are looking for the world-class experiences. So are we prepared for it? So it's just a self-assessment where we've tried to compare, are we still using the same landline? Is our organization still like a landline, or have we migrated to the smartphone? Because the smartphone is no more just a phone, but it is, it's your personal assistant, it's your planner, it's your approval system. It's a multi utility that the smartphone is generating, and that is where today smartphone penetration is the highest. If you look at the way smartphones have grown in India, the reason, because whereas in landline everything was limited to one location and one activity, smartphone has changed the way we deal with the phone. Similarly, we need to look at whether our businesses today, are they prepared for the smart buyers, or are we still stuck up with the our traditional system. So I leave this assessment to you, and probably we can always discuss this one-to-one again. Some very interesting aspects that we covered, and you'll be surprised, because we still the reason is we are still stuck up that the way everything used to move very slowly. We had time in the world earlier when our fathers, or 50 years back, or when we listen to our grandfathers, obviously things change very slow. They were every year, probably every 5 years, something new used to be invented or enter in the market. So we just tried to collect some very interesting information, that it took 75 years to reach 50 million for telephone. It took 38 years, almost half of what telephone took for the TV to reach out. And I mean the transistor to reach out, the radios, and it took only 13 years for television to reach out to 50 million users, whereas the internet took 4 years to reach out to 50 million users, and Facebook just took 2 years. And if you know, the Angry Bird or the Apple took 90 days to reach 50 million users. So if you look at the speed at which things are changing, and if you look at the smartphone sales. Like if you have heard of the Flipkart, within 2 seconds it exhausted all its online phones. They sold some uh, 1 lakh plus phones just in 15 to 30 seconds, which was unimaginable earlier, but things are happening today, and it has put all the mobile stores into a big challenging situation. So these are some interesting aspects. Again, the reason we really want to add Nokia, if you remember, one upon a time was the market leader. It had 37% market share in 2009 worldwide, and if you compare to India, it was the number one in the Indian market. And today, if you look at them, they got sold off to Microsoft. And the major learning that came out, that they were reluctant to change. They were not ready to accept what is changing in the market. So in spite of having the base technology or the number one players, they realized that they lost the touch in the market, and Android and iPhone completely changed the smartphone market overnight. And that is where our conclusion is that if we are not open to change and we are not ready to accept, soon probably our competition will take over, and we'll find ourselves nowhere. And that is where today we really need to come out of our comfort zones and look at what's happening around us, and that is where we've tried to collect all the interesting information. Finally, how to calculate ROI when you are investing in a software, because this is another major challenge that printers have been facing. For them, they want to invest in technology, but then they don't know how to calculate the return on investment. So there are two major needs that we have identified for which you normally invest in a technology. One, either you're trying to streamline your existing processes, making your existing customers ordering simplified and increasing their repeat business. So if you really look at one of your large corporate customers, and if you lose them, and what is the cost attached to that one account versus setting up an online software which really helps you to retain not only that customer but also to increase their print ordering with you. So that is one way of calculating the ROI, and the other is using as a growth tool. If you really look at today growth, if you compare of opening one more store somewhere in another city, or in the same city but in another area, what are the kind of cost involved, and how much time does it take to really start a new structure. So if you really start comparing the cost attached in terms of, like, if you look at NP labels, they started an online portal in US, and they've already started getting orders. Now if you imagine you had to open up a store in US sitting in India, I think it's almost next to impossible for a local print manufacturing imagine. Similarly, to reach out to new states and new cities in India, where NP labels earlier was not possible. Today they're getting orders from across the country. So if you look at the ROI, these are the two major aspects that I'm trying to just talk right now. And we can all the time, depending on your business model, calculate how how investing in software can help you either simplify your current ordering processes. Like if you look at NP label, again I'm taking that example because they reduce their manpower need for process ordering from 3 to 1. So it is not only helping them grow, but has also reduced their manpower required to process those orders for their existing customers. So if you just calculate those costs and versus what you are investing in a software, you'll get an ROI that in how much time or how much period you can get your investment back. And today it's no more a choice. If you really ask me, getting systems and softwares in place, it has become a part, just like you are investing a smartphone. Today nobody thinks whether we have to invest in a smartphone or not. We need it, either, or we will be considered, uh, outclassed, basically not considered, but would be outclassed if we, certain things we don't have. People might not even want to work with us. So that is where the shift is happening. So I'm taking just few minutes to introduce our company as what we have been doing. We are an IT outsourcing company, and I've built a web to print where we are working with printers across the globe, helping them, strategize their IT backbone in terms of understanding their products, their clients, their needs, their challenges, and then helping them design the right systems, and then supporting them. And how we do that? We have 4 steps, like where the first most important step is we do the requirement analysis in terms of where we work as your consultant. We do a free analysis of your current business, your needs, and try to even share who would be the right people on the software side or on the technology side who can help you. So it's not that only we can help you, but sometimes because the print software market is so huge, you need multiple softwares to be integrated. So we help them defining those structures, and if in case they fit in our systems, we try to give them a personalized demo in terms how our solution can really help them. Finally, this delivery and then the training. We have a very high and support system, because what we realize, as I mentioned earlier, that globally printing industry is a small scale industry. People are working with less than 25 people, companies, and where and technology IT is like a big stressful activity for them, because either they can focus on the printing or they can focus on the technology, and that is where we come up in a very strong way in becoming their backbone and working as their IT partners. So that is where we have built up a very strong support and training mechanism for the printers to help them grow. So what is a web to print solution? Just I'll give you a quick overview as to what, it's not just a website. It's not just an information website where people can get your information, but it's a complete online ordering tool where you have your information as well as your products. You have dynamic price calculators, so when a customer comes in and wants to see if he orders 100 pieces, what is the cost. If he orders 500 pieces, if he changes the parameters, instead of using this paper, he uses the other paper, or there are other additional parameters in the traditional system, the customer has to keep calling and keep asking what if he changes this paper or he changes this. Here everything happens, is automated in instant. Then the customer has an alternative option to either upload their print files or use the online designing tool. And at the back end, there's a complete online store management panel, where we have like, I'll just quickly give you some, how, like the NP label website. This is how they have created, where they have given a lot of products out there, and they're constantly updating this products. If you look, this is one of the most successful customers, again internationally, who is offering business cards, club printer, flyers, brochures, door hangers, postcards, you name, and they have created this. Customer chooses a product, and on the right hand side you see the calculator from where he can decide what quantity, and on this base quantity you can either offer digital or offset. These parameters can be rule based, and so if he chooses a higher quantity, automatically the digital options will not be seen. But if you look at here, whenever I'm changing an option, the pricing at the bottom is automatically changing. Here he has an option to upload. So this is what we mean when we say an online, that a web to print is not just a website but a complete information along with and this is a mobile responsive store. So even if you open this on a mobile, this is what you see, and you can choose a design and order and personalize it. uh, I'll just show you the back end uh, back and column. Yeah, this is the admin panel of our store, where you get an online desktop which gives you a complete overview of your business, day to day, weekly, monthly, orders, pending orders. This is a complete, and this is where we have made, the customers are having, the printers are benefiting in a big way. Who are the new customers? What are the fastest selling items? How many customers you have? Now everything is on your fingertips. And what are the hot selling products? If you look, and everything is under control. You can add new templates, new customers, corporate clients. So this is what a web to print is mm, uh, all about. This is a corporate store where a corporate can log in and yeah. So when a corporate gets inside, this is a corporate admin, and where he can see what from various departments, what people have ordered, what is the limit, what has been used, what has been paid. So everything now which you have to do manually or keep a track is being done on an automated. So this is what web to print is all about, and this is what we have done. This is in brief about us. 9 years into in printing industry, working with them, 500 customers plus. We have been into software development for 15 plus years, 350 people. So this is it. Another important part, yes, in case you guys are visiting Drupa, we are going to be